central India, July 2014. While exploring caves in the region of Charama, which are known to contain prehistoric artwork dating as far back as 10,000 years, an Indian archaeologist, J.R. Bhagat, makes a stunning discovery.
The Indian government and Times of India had a major story about rock paintings found recently in central India that seem to show these tall beings, and they do not seem to have a nose or a mouth. And nearby is this three-legged Diz.
The Times of India actually proposed the idea, what if what we have depicted here are some type of extraterrestrials, or at least some type of flying craft, because it's the basis for much of the Hindu pantheon of gods.
Ancient Hindu texts like the Vedas and the Puranas record stories about extraterrestrials existing on other planets. And the Mahabharata, one of ancient India's two major Sanskrit epics, contains stories about gods coming to Earth in flying machines. Even the legends specific to this region tell of a mysterious race of beings known as the Rohilla, who descended from the sky and abducted local villagers. Could the newly unearthed cave art be a visual record that extraterrestrials really visited here?
There was an obsession of ancient human beings to depict things that they saw. And I think they did it with carvings on caves because that's what they saw.
But what is it about caves that made them the ideal canvases for ancient peoples to chronicle their experiences?
Caves are hugely significant in ancient mythology and legends, especially about the gods. They seem to be kind of a luminal point, a boundary place where the gods and humans can meet.
There is a whole hidden underground world of planet Earth that we're only just now beginning to discover. We don't know what's there. We could be discovering all kinds of amazing things. And it's possible that there are entire cities under the earth, whole cavern metropolises that are talked about in legends.
But while ancient cave art often reveals the type of animals our earliest ancestors encountered and their means for hunting them, there is a surprising number of depictions of strange-looking figures and objects that defy any conventional explanation.
In Australia, the Wandjina people, they painted images on their caves, which eerily looks like the so-called greys of alien abduction lore today.
You have the strange petroglyphs in the Ahagar Mountains of southern Algeria. You've got strange rock art too in the American Southwest. And when you look at it, and even have the natives explain it to you, they say things like, oh yes, he's the Martian god, or these are the star people coming from the sky.
How do we explain so many different cultures across thousands of years and thousands of miles, producing such consistent visual representations?
The ones that were discovered in some of the African caves, it's too similar to what has been discovered on every continent for it to be complete coincidence. So it's this whole idea of the spark of initial inspiration. What is it that they witnessed? And could it be that they witnessed extraterrestrials?
One of the more intriguing aspects of the cave paintings that seem to show aliens is, why are they inside caves? This has sort of given rise to the theory that maybe these aliens perhaps have permanent bases on the planet underground, Maybe ancient man saw them coming out of some of these caves and caverns and then realized there was a relationship between the aliens and the caves.
The Lascaux Caves, southwestern France. Discovered in 1940 near the village of Montagnac. This cave complex is covered in Paleolithic paintings dating back more than 17,000 years. Anthropologists believe ancient shamans used these subterranean chambers to perform sacred rituals. And curiously, among the many Ice Age animals that are depicted on the walls, there is a strange creature that has the body of a man and the head of a bird.
The technical term for such a creature is a therianthrope, and that's from the Greek therion, which means wild beast, and anthropos, which means man. Clearly, these are not things that one encounters in everyday life. The imagery of cave art is best explained as the experiences that shamans undergo in a deep state of trance. When they return from the trance state, they then depict on the cave walls the visions that they have seen in this deeply altered state of consciousness.
The birdman found in Lascaux is reminiscent of one of the Egyptians' most important gods, Thoth. It is also consistent with the depiction of the Sumerian sky gods, the Anunnaki. But is it mere coincidence that these shamans are encountering the same types of beings while in a trance that the world's earliest civilizations depicted as their gods?
In all of these different indigenous cultures around the world, there are remarkable similarities of what types of beings people claim to be meeting when they go out of body. This suggests that in the dream plane and in the shamanic state, there is in fact a real place that we are going and real beings that we are encountering when we get there.
This is where the ancient astronaut theory suggests that they were the same teachers, the teachers that went to all the ancient cultures and brought them the basics for what we've accomplished today.
But there was a big noticeable change in human behavior around 40,000 years ago, exactly at the time that our ancestors begin to manifest the first amazing cave art. But what is clear is that it's not a coincidence, that at the moment that the cave art begins, we also witness in the archaeological record a radical change in human behavior.
In July 2021, ancient astronaut theorists Giorgio Tsoukalos and William Henry traveled to Rock Art Ranch in Winslow, Arizona, to investigate one of North America's most extensive collections of petroglyphs. Joining them is esteemed Navajo tribal ranger John Dover.
It's so great to meet you because 31 years you've been a tribal Navajo ranger, is that correct?
Yes, I started in 1980 to 2011 and worked most of the reservation up there to 27,000 square miles.
Wow.
This ranch is very unique because there is so much archaeology here.
Well, we're sure excited to be here to get eyes on it with you.
Okay, well, let's go take a look.
All right.
Rock Art Ranch's 5,000 acres are home to nearly 3,000 ancient petroglyphs, and on nearly every panel are figures that the Navajo identify as star people.
This is sensational. Look at that guy right there.
They call that the birthing mother, right?
That's right.
Very fascinating because I'm looking at that and immediately my mind goes around the world.
Absolutely.
This is a depiction of a mother goddess.
Yep.
It's like those big giant statues that were found over in Europe.
Right.
In the northwest Kimberley region of Australia, ancient cave art depicts beings called the Wandjina, the sky heroes of one of Australia's indigenous clans.
The stories behind the Wandjinas goes that they descended from the sky and gave knowledge and jump-started civilization in Australia thousands and thousands of years ago. And the Wanjinas are incredible because they have these gigantic heads and these long bodies and these arms. It seems as if they're inside some sort of a pressurized suit. There are similar figures all around the world. Big bulbous heads, big bodies floating up in the sky. In Japan, we have the same things. In Africa, in Europe, in North and South America. So my suggestion is that the extraterrestrials that came to Earth thousands and thousands of years ago didn't just visit Australia. They visited each and every continent on Earth, and that is why we have the similar motifs.
Look at the concentric rings up there. That's the portal symbol. There's 2 of them. And there's guys around the portal.
Interesting, yeah. Tell me, John, petroglyphs are regarded as picture books that tell a story all at once.
That's right. And also enmeshed in all this are religious symbols, things that tell you something about how they worshiped, pictures of gods.
And when you say gods,
right.
What, in your culture, what does that mean?
It could be anything from somebody coming to them and meeting with them and imparting knowledge. And in the case of the Navajo, that's what the Yebiche represent. In the case of the Hopis, the Kachinas represent those gods that came to Earth to give them knowledge.
And could one make the argument that these may have been visitations by flesh and blood extraterrestrials in ancient times?
Oh, definitely. From what we understand, there's many different races of alien that are coming to this world.
That's amazing.
In the case of some tribes down in southern Arizona, you even have a mountain range called the Estrella Mountains. In the language of the people in that area, Estrella means Stargate.
Absolutely, Estrella, star people.
Am I correct to assume that this is only the tip of the iceberg and that there are so many more panels like this that the world doesn't even know about?
On the Navajo Reservation alone, there are 300,000 sites that are recorded.
I mean, we're talking at least 4,000 BC, right?
That's right.
July 2021. Giorgio Tsoukalos and William Henry have been granted special access to Rock Art Ranch in Winslow, Arizona, where Navajo tribal elder John Dover is guiding them through the ancient petroglyph panels.
Wow, look at this.
I mean, look at the hollow body with the star inside. One hand pointing to the sky, the other down to Earth.
And just beneath that, look at, that is a gray alien.
That triangular head.
That
Very
is
strange.
That is.
You have all kinds of different types of figures, different representations of gods.
Right. I mean, what we have to fill in with our imagination is that these beings off the wall, 3D, walking amongst the people. They're interacting with these beings.
Right. We don't know if it's the same time.
Right.
Or it could be different times.
That's mind-blowing. I'm so intrigued by that double helix up there, too, beside the trapezoidal figure. I mean...
As if to indicate, because of the creature on the left, DNA, you know, had something to do with this.
That's right.
Giorgio, when you see the guy with the trapezoidal body, and you see the curvy lines on the body, that always symbolizes, like, vibration.
Okay.
The Anunnaki wore cloaks that had those kind of curvy lines all over.
Right.
And so here we have a clear symbolic connection with the Anunnaki on this figure.
The Anunnaki were powerful deities worshipped more than 5,000 years ago by the ancient Sumerians who inhabited Mesopotamia, an area that is now modern-day Iraq. According to the Sumerian writings, the Anunnaki descended upon a mountain, shining like the sun, and shared profound wisdom with the human race.
Look at all the different types of beings here. And then all the way across there, you've still got even more variety. I mean, this is almost like a meeting place of all these different worlds and different beings.
So, you know, you have giants, you have little people, and the giants and the little people are talked about in the other world that they came from before they came to this world.
No, and this is the same with Sago Canyon up in Utah. You have these massive, massive carvings and petroglyphs. So the fact that we have these virtually identical motifs, to me, suggests they were all taught by the same teachers.
And the guy here with the horns, which could be rays, right next to the gray alien, he's got horns or rays coming off of his head. You see that at Val Camonica in Italy.
Yes,
see
you
it
do.
All kinds of different places. And again, pointing to the idea that these could be luminous or radiant beings that they're portraying.
And seeing creatures here having, for example, 3 fingers, you know, as far as I know, except for a couple of reptiles, there aren't any 3-fingered creatures, you know, so, and especially nothing humanoid.
Right.
So, again, our ancestors had impeccable powers of observation. That's all they did all day. They observed. And so your estimation then, too, is that this was not a bunch of kids, you know, on a Saturday night not knowing what to do.
Absolutely not. These were people that came here with a purpose. And the purpose was to put their history on the wall, showing where they came from, where they were going.
John, this is incredible. And what I love the most is the access. I mean, I've never been face to face like this.
There's a lot of places nobody's allowed to go except for archaeologists, medicine men, and rangers.
It's spectacular. It's one thing to see images in a book or online, but to come face to face with it, feel the energy, see it, spectacular. I came away with this deep sense that this is meant for us to discover throughout the ages, that it was super important to the ancients to record this information, to tell us that these beings were here, they had a hand in our evolution, and they're probably still visiting us today.
What I think is important in this whole thing is that John said, these are our stories of the star people. And when First Nation cultures say that someone visited from the sky and imparted knowledge, I think it's time that we start to listen.